I want to tell you a story about a Christian pro-life activist who finds herself in prison today here in America. She's 88 years old. Now, she's got to be quite a hardened criminal. 88, they scoop her up. She's in prison. Whew. I want you to notice, as I tell you the story, the difference between good and evil, and how America tolerates and even embraces absolute evil and can no longer even see good. We have protesters on the streets and people make excuses for them. We have robberies. Some cities are an absolute hellhole now because of what we have going on in the streets with just illegal aliens. By the way, did you notice that something else was in the bill from the other night when the war bill? The peace bill, where they gave $60 billion to Ukraine. And then they gave a little money to Taiwan, and then a little money to Israel, and then a little money to Hamas, just so we could play all sides. And then they also put the TikTok thing in. There was something else there. It was a buttload of money to be able to open up new offices, federal offices, U.S. government offices, to help ease the way to bring more Arab refugees into the United States. They're building, I think, 4 of them. I think it was $4 billion that was in that bill to be able to open it up to make the pathway to coming here to the United States from the Arab world easier. I have nothing wrong, no beef against Arabs. However, I just don't think that we're screening people very well. There's a lot of people over the Arab world who hate our guts. What are we doing? We can't see good and bad anymore. We can't see good versus evil anymore. So here's Eva Edl. She's 88 years old. She's making peace with her life and her death now in prison, put there by Joe Biden. She's been in prison before. She's familiar with the consequences of dehumanization. After the Nazi forces were routed in Europe, and they were just routed out, the war at large was coming to an end. She was 10, and she was tossed into the communist dictator Tito's concentration camps because she was a Nazi sympathizer. She was 10. She was 10. Everybody was branded as a Nazi collaborator by Tito's Communist Party, and they were targeted for their German ethnic background. We were considered, she said, just non-human. It was permission to torture and kill by the government. In camp, she said she ended up losing all of the skin on her legs, hobbled by sores. People gagged when they came near me, she said. The flies and the fleas and the lice and the bed bugs just loved my festering body. She was 10. She managed to escape to Austria. She spent several years in refugee camps. Made it to the United States, only to be arrested by Joe Biden's jackbooted thugs. She's now making peace with her death in prison for defending the lives of the biggest cohort of dehumanized people, slaughtered by the tens of millions globally every single year, the unborn. The Justice Department charged her and 10 other pro-life activists in October of 22 for violating the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act. This came from Bill Clinton. The pro-life activists staged a peaceful protest inside the abortion clinic in Mount Juliet, Tennessee on March 5th, 21. They were singing, they were praying in support of those persons who had and would be slain deeper inside the abortion clinic. According to the Blaze article earlier this month, she and the final 4 of the 11 pro-life activists were convicted. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Middle District of Tennessee indicated that she faces up to 6 months in prison, 5 years of supervised released, and up to $10,000 in fines. They were thinking about giving her up to a decade in prison, but I don't know, maybe they saw this 88-year-old frail woman who had been in a concentration camp as maybe not a threat, really. So they only gave her 6 months. America has an amazing choice, hard one, because neither the candidates are perfect. They've both shown us what they can do. Donald Trump showed us exactly what he can do, and Joe Biden has shown us exactly what he can do. Both will go further, I'm assuming, in their second term than they did in their first term. One, because one learned an awful lot in the first term, and the other, because there will be no consequence. By the way, you know, they said that, we told you that they were trying to ban gas stoves. We said that's insanity. It can't be true, but the administration said it. Then they came out and said, we never said that. That's a conspiracy theory. We have no desire to ban gas stoves. Yesterday, the president signed a new executive order banning all gas stoves in any government building because we're phasing all gas stoves out. That's the priority. You can't afford to put things in the pan on the stove to cook it up for your family. But he wants to ban gas stoves. Yeah, because oil is so much better. And electricity, well, that just comes from the magic socket in the wall.